Self-made millionaires look into every failure for something good. And surprise, surprise, they always find it. And they always find the lesson. Successful people say, what can I learn from this that will make me smarter next time? Your biggest problem today could be the biggest gift that you have ever received, because it may contain within it the lesson that will make you successful. If you stop thinking about what happened and who's to blame, and you start looking for the gift within your problem, sometimes it can transform your life.
Take a look at the very most difficult experience that you're in right now and ask yourself, what is the most valuable lesson I can learn from this experience? And in the Bible it says, seek and ye shall find. It doesn't say seek and occasionally you might find something.
One of the very best ways is to sit in solitude when you have a major problem or a major issue in your life. Just sit quietly, which takes tremendous discipline the first few times you do it. At about 25 or 26 minutes, your mind goes clear. Any issue that you've been dealing with, the answer just comes to you. And if you've never done it before, just practice it once, sometime today, and just allow yourself to calm down and think. And the most amazing things will happen. You'll start to hear what is called the still, small voice within. Now here's another way to think better. When you're dealing with any kind of a situation, write down every detail of the problem or situation. Just write it down, write it down, write it down. You would not have triggered that superconscious solution if you hadn't taken the time to think on paper.
It is almost as though in the very act of writing what is wrong, you start to discover ways of making it right. As opposed to mentally pondering it, creates a space between you and the problem. You see, writing about events and circumstances that occur helps you to clarify exactly what is happening. We become more factual, more accurate, and certainly more realistic. Then, as we reread what we have written, we create a new picture in our minds to replace the distorted picture we have been working with. Write about a current dilemma you are facing. Perhaps it is a personal problem, a business matter, a family issue, or a financial problem. But remember, writing out the problem is only the first step to creative problem solving and effective decision making. The next step is to carefully analyze what you have written. First, exaggerations or distortions of the truth. Second, a tendency to blame circumstances or someone else for your problem instead of seeing yourself as the cause. Third, a tendency to expect circumstances, or still worse, other people to change in order for your problem to be solved. And finally, look closely for weak points in the obstacle where you might attack to bring that obstacle to its knees. You must learn to view your problems like a scientist who puts tiny organisms on a slide. And two, as you examine your problem, do as any scientist would do, record your observations. Be sure to record the ultimate conclusion to your dilemma. If it worked well, then it is worth remembering. Every mistake has its own price tag, but the most costly error anyone can make is an error unlearned and often repeated. Becoming a more effective thinker on paper is a sure way of becoming a more effective person in practice. Here are some good times to reflect. First, at the end of the day, take a few minutes and go back over your day. Where you went and what you did and what you said, what worked and what didn't. What do you want to do again? What do you want to correct? Another time to reflect is at the end of the week. Take a few hours. Take a half a day at the end of the month. Take a weekend at the end of the year. Reason? To make the past more valuable. Sophisticated people have learned how to gather up the past and invest it in the future. Gather all your experiences and invest all that you have learned and felt in your next experience. And the more value, the more substance, the more information, the more wisdom you can gather from all of your yesterdays, the more exciting your future becomes. How to gather what we've learned in order to invest it in what we want to become. And in studying your own life, be sure to study the negative as well as the positive, your failures as well as your successes. One of the ways we learn how to do something right is simply by doing it wrong. Doing it wrong is a great school for learning. What a close at hand and emotionally impactful way to learn from your own experiences.
To improve your thinking, talk it over with someone else who you like and trust. The other person can give you a perspective that completely changes your ideas. Now, here's another way to think better.
Practice zero-based thinking continually. Ask yourself on a regular basis, is there anything in my life that, knowing what I now know, I wouldn't get into again today if I had to do it over? The biggest time waster of all is for you to continue to pursue a course of action, a job, a career, or a relationship that is the wrong one for you. Because we're living in a time of rapid change, fully 70% of your decisions will turn out to be wrong in the fullness of time. And a key indicator of a zero-based thinking situation is stress. Whenever you feel chronic stress, dissatisfaction, or unhappiness with any person or situation that seems to go on and on, you should ask yourself, knowing what I now know, would I get into this situation again today? And if your answer is no, then the next question is, how do I get out of this situation, and how fast? Remember, whatever the situation, if it is an unhappy situation, it is probably not going to change. It's probably going to get worse over time. The only question then is, do you have the courage and character to deal honestly with your life as it really is today? When you stand back and look at your life from this point of view on a regular basis, you'll begin to see all kinds of opportunities to change what you are doing so that they are more in line with what you really want.
Success begins with you exercising your power of choice and using it to take systematic, purposeful control over the thoughts you hold in your conscious mind. Most people are preoccupied by a continuous stream of disorganized thought. You've experienced this phenomenon, lost in thought, with almost no memory of the trip at all. Many of your habitual routines and conversations take place with a low level of awareness. Sometimes this preoccupation is you use it to avoid thinking about parts of your life that you'd rather not confront or deal with. Sometimes it is you've been going through the motions for so long that your thought processes are unthinking. Now, to become all, you must become more alert, more aware, must take more control over your thought processes so that you move in the direction of your own choosing rather than steering blindly on mental autopilot, as most people do. You begin the process of awakening by reflecting on your life, past, present, and future. Assume that whatever your current situation or difficulty, it is exactly what you require right now to teach you something that you need to know before you can continue on your upward journey. With this perspective, you can see that every experience is a positive experience if you choose to view it as an opportunity for growth and self-mastery. Now, project backward and with calmness, clarity, and a positive mental attitude, think about how every previous experience and situation of your life might have been sent to you at exactly the right time to teach you something you needed to learn so that you could continue moving toward the wonderful life that awaits you. As you stand back and appreciate the incredibly complex interconnectedness of events that have brought you to where you are in life right now, you will begin to develop the perspective of the philosopher. You will have a feeling that your life is part of something greater than yourself and that everything fits together and happens for a reason as a human being. You must take control of the internal and external aspects of your life and get them all playing in harmony around a central theme of your own choosing. All real and lasting success comes from organizing your life in harmony with these general principles. The first law is the law of expectations.
It's truly amazing. When we confidently expect something worthwhile to materialize in our lives, it invariably does. It gives each of us a kind of magic wand with which we can bring all sorts of interesting and rewarding events and things into our lives. Those who have cultivated this power, who consciously and actively work at it, regularly do the most amazing things. If you have trouble maintaining this powerful force, a reminder card, placed where you'll see it every morning when you get up and at odd times during the day, can help you get on course and form a very valuable new habit.
You apply the law of expectations in your own life by confidently expecting to gain something worthwhile from everything that happens. Make your life into an adventure. Your expectations would quickly become self-fulfilling prophecies. The second law is the law of subconscious activity. Any idea or thought that you accept as true in your conscious mind will be accepted without question by your subconscious mind. Your subconscious will immediately begin working to bring it into your reality. Take time each day to sit and soak your mind in positive and uplifting thoughts. Whatever you dwell upon long enough and hard enough will eventually materialize in the world around you. Take a sheet of paper and make a list of all the things that you want to see in your life. Write down everything. For the next 24 hours, think and talk only about the things on your list. See if you can get through one entire day without upset or worried about anything. See if you have the willpower and strength of character to think about only what you want for one whole day. This exercise will give you a real insight into where you are in your development, and it will also show you how far you have yet to go. As I read story after story of famous men and women, and as I reflected on their biographies and autobiographies, I was struck by the common thread that ran through all of them. They all seemed to have or to develop an unshakable belief in their ability to overcome all obstacles and reach some great height. This belief or conviction seemed to give them powers not possessed by the ordinary person. They went on to accomplish remarkable things, often against overwhelming odds and in defiance of the predictions of people around them. When I left high school and began drifting from job to job, I had no central purpose or aim aside from somehow seeing the world. Like most people, I slipped into the reactive, responsive mode. I took whatever job came along. I associated with whoever happened to be around at the time. Instead of planning my life, I just reacted to my external environment and responded to my emotional and physical needs. I assumed that this was all there is. I came to accept unconsciously that what I knew and what I was doing constituted the upper limits of what was possible for me. The best I felt I could do was to react as intelligently and as constructively as possible and try not to make too many mistakes. When my studies in psychology, religion, and metaphysics mentioned the subconscious mind, I neither understood it very well nor did I attempt to use it to help me. The more I learned about the mental laws that govern our behavior and determine our results, the more I realized there was a hidden dimension of achievement that I was missing. I understood the meaning of human potential. Your subconscious mind is enormously powerful. When you use it properly, it can help you to move more rapidly toward the achievement of your goals and desires than you ever dreamed possible. You can use your subconscious mind for creation or destruction, for good or for evil. To fulfill your potential, you must learn how to access it at will and use it for your purposes intelligently and constructively. Most people are work every day with their minds, but they use their powerful mental computers for only the most rudimentary tasks, and then they wonder why their work is so hard and why they seem to produce so little. The answer I found was to work smarter, to use more of my mental powers rather than my physical powers to achieve my goals. Successful people are those who have learned how to operate their conscious and subconscious minds in harmony, enabling them to get the things they want far faster and with much less effort. Your subconscious mind is like a huge memory bank. It permanently stores everything that ever happens to you. Your subconscious mind also practices homeostasis in your mental realm by keeping you thinking and acting in a manner consistent with what you've done and said in the past. It has memorized all your comfort zones, and it works to keep you in them. You can feel your subconscious pulling you back toward your comfort zone each time you try something new. Even thinking about doing something different from what you're accustomed to will make you feel tense and uneasy. A major difference between leaders and also-rans is always stretching themselves, pushing themselves out of their comfort zones. They're very aware of how quickly the comfort zone in any area becomes a rut. They know that complacency is the great enemy of creativity and future possibilities. So for you to grow, to get out of your comfort zone, you have to be willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable doing it the first few times. Here's a 5-step process you can use to implement this method to help bring about any desired mental, emotional, or physical condition. Step 1. Verbalize and affirm your desired outcome. For example, if you're wrestling with a problem involving someone else, you could say, calmly and confidently, your statement should be a clear description of your desired outcome or end state. Don't get wrapped up in detail. Don't worry about the process. Step 2. Visualize and Clearly see the outcome you desire in this situation. See yourself and everyone else involved happy and at peace with the outcome. This will require effort and concentration. Step 3. Emotionalize your combined affirmation and visualization by creating the feeling that you will actually experience when everything is resolved happily. Step 4. Release the situation completely. Just let it go as you would if someone you trusted said that he would take care of it and that you need not ever think of it again. And step 5 is realization, the appearance in your outer world of the solution. The realization or manifestation of your desire happens in direct proportion to which you have completely released all concern for the outcome and turned your mind to other things. This attitude of calm, confident expectation that all will be well is an experience of higher consciousness. It doesn't matter what you call it. All that matters is that it works with amazing reliability.